Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're well, and thank you so much for joining this session on financial planning and parental leave. So I'm here, I'm Mary Dwasey, and I have my colleague Janice. We're not experts, financial experts. We're not qualified individuals looking into finances of people, but we're going to share our experiences from being mothers and then, obviously keeping the home, working full time and doing other bits and how to budget and all those things. So stay with us. If this is going to be your first time, please do set the notification bell on so that every time that we post or every time that we, come on to share, you're able to go back and watch. And then also bumstoyummies.com is our website. If you want any information at all, please do go there. Our mission is basically to minimize, improve maternal well-being and then minimize loneliness. That is through sessions or events on infant feeding support, relax on unwind postnatally, which I think we had about 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. It was an in-person event. And then also to ensure that mothers and the partners or parents per se have information to be able to go by their daily lives. So if you want any information on finances, make sure that you see an expert or even the bank if it savings or anything. But today we're just going to be focusing on maternity leave or parental leave and finances. So hopefully you will walk away with valuable insights and tips in managing your finances during this important phase of life. And then also know how to budget effectively, navigate any insurance, life insurance or anything that you need to have, and then the benefits that you will be entitled to whilst you're on maternity leave, and then which will also help you to make the best out of it. We will go into, I think the first thing that we will be looking at is the financial planning. And this was from Citizens Advice Bureau. So it's a process that one looks at, takes a closer look into their financial situation and then building specific financial plan or goals for them to achieve. And as we talk, especially with mothers and, if you're working full-time or if you're working for yourself, your goals need to be smart. So as a result, you will be able to look into your finances. You'll be able to look into savings if you're at that age of retirement, or if you know of any relative to the age of retirement, looking at your estate and insurances. But as I've said earlier, we are going to be focusing on when you're going to maternity leave or when you're planning to have a baby, what you need to do, and it's going to come from a place of our experiences. So we will be referring to maternity leave or parental leave, which will be the same. And normally this is taken from 36 weeks of pregnancy. And sometimes if you've been unwell for quite a long time during pregnancy, your employer might request you, which is part of the policy that they have, for you to start your maternity leave a bit early, even though you're on sick leave. Or when you have your baby on the date, sometimes it might not be your due date. So any date that you will have your baby, for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I think I was meant to be due on the first week in September, but I had baby almost I think middle week or last week in August. So then my maternity leave didn't start on the day that I was due, but it started on the day that I gave birth. So you need to take all these into consideration. And you will have a statutory maternity pay, which is up to 39 weeks, 9 months. If you have extra like annual leave, you can take it up to a year and then add on your annual leave to make it a bit longer. So by the time you go back to work, babies actually, they started crawling, they can pick foods by their hands, they're able to do certain things unaided, which will also make your nursery bills a bit cheaper than when you take a baby that's fully dependent on an adult. So the statutory maternity pay basically consists of, so if you go to the Citizens Advice Bureau website, all this information is there. So 6 weeks would be 90% of your average weekly pay, which is before tax. So there's no tax on this. So whatever your weekly pay is going to be when you weren't on maternity leave, remember that it is before tax and there's nothing taken out of it. So that would be 90% of your average weekly pay. Then the 33 weeks, you getting either £172 48 pence a week, or 90% of the average weekly pay before tax, whichever is less. I'm going to give an example which will make it a bit clearer, because sometimes when you get all these 90%, 33 weeks and all those, it's a bit confusing. So I will use myself an example because I'm currently on maternity leave. So for instance, if when I was working full-time, literally going to work, either you're working from home or you're physically on site, earning £200 per week before tax, I do start maternity leave on the day that my son was born. The first 6 weeks, I will be getting 90% of that £200 each week. When you do 90% of £200, it's 180. So then I will be receiving my statutory maternity pay each week for the first 6 weeks would be £180. I forgot to do the calculations because we get paid every 4 weeks, isn't it? So if you do 4 weeks, 4 times 180, you will know how much you will get as a basic pay without taxes being taken off. But the first 6 weeks, you will be getting £180 every week. That is if I was on 200 a week before I gave birth. So as the 180 is more than the statutory amount, which is £172 48 pence, I will then get that amount per week for the next 33 weeks of maternity leave. Okay. Therefore, I will be earning that's the first example. So if I've got 180, which is more than 172 set by the government, 0.48 pence, I will subsequently fall into the £172 48 pence statutory pay for the next 33 weeks of maternity leave. If I wasn't earning £200 per week before I went on maternity leave, but I was earning £123 each week before tax, and I started maternity leave, 90% of that £123 is 110.70p. I will be receiving that as a statutory maternity pay each week for the first 6 weeks. But then, as the £110.70 is less than the £172 48 pence, I will continue to receive that 90% of the £123 each week. So you can see it literally drastically goes down when you're on maternity leave. And this is why we thought to run this session, so that we will put some nuggets in place for people to get the tips and the steps that they need to take before they go on maternity leave. So if you earn more, if you do £500, if it's £500 a week, then you do the 90% and then calculate it like that, and you will know how much you will be earning. That is why when you're on maternity leave, your pay goes really, really low. And one thing that I learned to do was because I don't like surprises, right? So I always set my maternity pay for the whole 9 months, if I'm taking the whole 9 months, for it to be even. So HR, when I was filling the form, that was the option that I ticked. It would go down, but at least you know that for the 9 months, this is how much I'm going to get, and this is how I'm going to budget myself. And that is how I rationalize, and it's easier on myself because at the end of every month, I know how much is going to come in. So if I'm going to spend, am I going to buy anything? Is it going to be okay for me to buy this or not? Then I'll do that. So you need to, yes. Oh, tell him that I'm doing something. Speak to him. Yeah. Speak to him, yeah? Close the door. Close the door because I'm recording this. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. That was my son. So the tips that we're going to give, just make it simple, and I think once you start asking, it doesn't make it easier, but at least you'll be in the know. Okay. As I've said, this example, I used it from I've literally gone off my head. The website that I said earlier, Citizens Advice Bureau. That's it. There's example that I got from their website, and it's good for you to go and read. So if you're in the UK, because we're here, that's why we're focusing on the UK, because I don't know what benefits wherever you're based you will have. So when you're on maternity leave, and then some of the benefits that you're entitled will be, obviously child benefit, child tax credit, working tax credit. This can continue for 39 weeks after you go on maternity leave. And then if you're not working, income support. So if you're working, even though your pay had gone down, there are some benefits that you will be able to access to get your pay up. But obviously, there would be also other benefits. If you're really in a higher threshold, you might not be able to access as well. So try and find out from your employer, or even .gov website where they give quite a lot of information on benefits. So even though this slide says 4 steps in financial planning, it's actually, I've put a bit more on. So it's you have to look at preparing for the arrival of a new baby. Like, for instance, if you're looking at in this current situation, cost of living, everything is going up, even just the loaf of bread, butter, the basics, eggs, everything has gone up. So you need to make sure that you plan for your baby, the arrival of your baby. If, do your credit check, make sure that you're planning for the future. Are you able to afford it? If you're not able to afford it, what are some of the steps you're going to put in place so that you will be able to afford baby? That is how I did it. That's my experience. And I want to, as I said earlier, I want to be in the know. I don't want any surprises, but sometimes you get surprised, but then you have to take a step back and then literally start thinking, what do I need to put in place? What do I not need to put in place? And I think as soon as you find out that you're pregnant, all these thoughts starts coming in. And I remember telling Janice, I was a few weeks pregnant, and I was like, my God, and I'm thinking about childcare. And I'm like, I haven't even had the baby, but I'm thinking about childcare because I know how much it costs, and it's quite expensive going back full time. But obviously, I will need to have the conversation with my employer if I'm able to do some activity, some work from working from home, or, being on site, all those things. You can have those conversations with your employer so that they'll be able to support you. Or if you're someone that wants to be in the physically on site, just because, you get that bonding, you get that relationship, it takes your mind off from home, what you need from home, and then you're able to afford childcare. That is also another way for you to make sure that your well-being is taken in place, where your well-being is okay, because you have that human interaction as well. Cutting down your debts before you go on maternity leave, because remember, if your pay goes down and you have monthly credit card debts that you need to pay, or even PayPal, or even shop cards that you shopped on from various shops, you need to make sure that you've cut those debt down, because once your pay goes down, it's really difficult for you to be making those payments, and you don't want them to affect your credit scores as well. Create a baby budget. So years ago, I think, Janice, come in if there's anything that you want to chip in, yeah? Like my 16-year-old.
I was just going to say, like you said, when you found out, because it might have been a little bit of a surprise, I remember what you did was to recruit nannies, isn't it? You recruit babysitters. Well done.
And that wasn't having, well, I wasn't even completed about my first trimester, but I was just thinking ahead, because I knew I don't like stress. I always want to be in the know and then plan. initially I'll be like, oh gosh, what's this? What's happening? But then after that period, I'm like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. But I started having the conversation. And I think it's because of the relationship that I have with individuals at work. That's why I was able to start asking about childcare and all those things as well. So it goes back to relationships as well, that you have to, you need to have your tribe, the people around you who will be able to support you. 16 years ago, time looking after babies, baby shopping, food shopping, clothes. It's when you compare it to this time, no way. It's just literally just zoomed. 16 years ago, I used to do loads of clothes shopping. This time, because by the time you blink, the baby's already grown. I quite remember my oldest son. He didn't even wear some of the clothes. You go to all these shops and then buy all these different types of jackets, outfits. By the time he finished, like a month, 2 months, he's even gone past the age that he's meant to be wearing. So I had a lot of clothes that I would just give into charity. But now I have to be smart, because I know that the cost of living is really high. Your mortgage, your bills, everything that you have to pay, your rent is going up. So I had to be smart and then buy what I needed at this time, and not buy thinking, oh God, because they're doing sales, let me just purchase it and then I'll use it for later. And this time, like even the sleep suits and the baby grows, I had to count and be like, okay, this is the amount that he's going to wear. And then when he goes out, wash it, and then I give it away. And I haven't even felt, what's the word? Like you're overspending. And this has been the time that I'm feeling like your maternity leave, and you can relax, because you can literally plan and know what you need to buy for the baby. I'm not just going to be buying and buying and buying for no reason. Okay. I pause before I spend. I don't even go looking, because I know myself. What I've learned also is source around websites that do genuine items from shops, but at a very, very, some of them are even like 60% off. But even though they're really, really on a lower cost, I don't still go overboard and then just spend. Sometimes you're buying sleep suits, like 3 packs, even less than £10. But when you go to the mainstream shops, like £16, £18, which is quite a lot. I'm still thinking about childcare, because when I go back, as I've said before, have the conversation with your employer closer to when you resume work, because that would help you to plan and take into consideration how much you're going to be spending and then traveling to work as well. So monthly budget, know your monthly budget. As I said earlier, I've done it as a base, as a same pay. So it's literally gone down, but I know how much I'm going to be getting every month. And because I know what's coming in, I'm budgeting. I'm not going out and buying for buying's sake. Or, as I've said, Black Friday, people are just shopping and shopping because there's a lot, there's the items there's that is cheaper. I haven't started saving, because I have to be honest, but the kids' savings, I've continued it. But for my personal saving, I haven't done it, just because of the amount that we're getting through the every month. And also remember, if you have a partner who's also works, because the pay had gone down, even though they're still supporting, it might still impact on how you cope every month. And rent and mortgage and even council tax bills been going up anyway. So you need to take all these into consideration, because the last thing that we want is, once baby is here, you're stressing. We promote for you to have that close and loving relationship. We promote for you to enjoy baby whilst baby's growing, because it doesn't take long. They're just literally off, doing their own thing. So we need to be taking those into consideration as well. So speak to fellow parents to understand what the hidden costs are. If this is your first time, sometimes it's good to read, genuine, but when you have someone that's gone through the experience and they're sharing, you can literally tap in, and at least you have someone also to go back to later. If anything comes up for you to ask, it will be easier for you to have that human contact to have those information on board. So how are you going to survive maternity leave? Financially, it will be for you to plan ahead and start saving earlier. So once you know that you're pregnant, I started putting money away just little by little. And it doesn't need to be a lot. You can put away how much you can afford. You don't need to go cold turkey and then literally start what's the word, cutting corners just to put the money away, but make sure that you're doing it in a safe manner so that you're able to be happy in yourself, and make sure that the little that you put away, even if you see, even if it's £10, £5, £50, you're glad that you've put it away, and then you know that it's towards something. You can do that if you're someone that's planning to be pregnant. You can do that, but even if you're not planning and then you're taken by surprise, we are all encouraged to put something away, because you don't know, for a rainy day, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, isn't it? Some people encourage that you open a bank account which is dedicated for pregnancy and baby essentials. Every month, put some money away and build up on those accounts. I didn't do that because I know, especially all those accounts, I've got access on my phone, so there is no reason. But I have my normal savings account that I used to put it in. I didn't open a very special account just because of pregnancy and for baby essentials. But obviously the kids will have their savings accounts where you know that it's either the savings account that they will only have access to when they're 18, and then one that you put, just the basic, whether you get £2, you can transfer it in there, or you can even share those account details with friends and relatives if the birthdays are coming up. And some of them are happy to just put the money in rather than buying toys that they would just use for a day or two and then not even see any relevance of it. So you can also look through that channel as well. Just give it an account and then let them put the money in, rather than spending on a toy that the baby might not even use or touch. So make sure that you speak to human resources, the person that's linked to your department. Speak to friends, people that have got experience of pregnancy, on maternity leave, how they coped, and learn those nuggets. These are our nuggets that we're sharing. And it worked, and it's working, and then I keep on changing things, because how I behaved, as I said, 16 years ago, I'm never going to behave like that this year. No way, because there's more to life. And I need to be in a safer place mentally, and then also ensure that I am not overspending and stressing, because I don't want any stress to hinder the relationship that I need to build with the newborn. Well, not newborn anymore, but as he grows up, and also the older kids. And also everything that we're doing, remember that we have our children looking on us. So we're basically like role models anyway for them. So we need to do it the right way. If we get it wrong, there's nothing wrong with it, but we just need to stop and then get access from experts so that we'll be able to be on the right channel. Janice, anything you would like to add, please?
I think it's what you said. It's just about being prepared, learning from experience, learning from other moms in networks that you might be in. You might have gone to a children's center or to the health visitor, and you hear these discussions. So you pick what's for you, what would work for you and your family, and you leave the rest. Sometimes you might need to try something new, because then you get a different outcome, but don't be afraid. That's my little bit there.
Thank you very much, Janice. So as I said earlier, Bumps to Yummies, we're here to support mothers to improve on the mental well-being, and then also to minimize loneliness. We do have in-person events and online sessions. So if you're in the borough of Newham in London, make sure that you look out for us. We are on Eventbrite, follow us, and don't forget to set your notification button wherever, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, so that whenever we come on, you'll be able to come on and listen and take some tips away. So thank you so much for this afternoon. And our next event will be, I think, the first or second week in December. we're doing some preparations, but we will post it on our social media platforms. So it's the same name across the board. So LinkedIn, Bumps to Yummy's Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Yes. So go to those pages. And don't forget to visit our website as well, bumpstoyummies.com, if you want any information. We are creating a community where we will support all mothers as well. So make sure that you're in the know, that you don't miss out from all these tips and nuggets. Thank you very much and have a blessed afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.